The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 11th day of March, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr., and Maya Palacio will be with us, in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's. How was your weekend, good buddy?
My weekend's pretty good. I actually went to the sports awards, put on by, I don't want to get the government department wrong. Sport and recreation. It's more than that.
They changed so
They
often.
changed the name, but I know it's not youth anymore. But it was definitely a good event that they put on. I will encourage people, like how I got encouraged to attend. Even if you're not invited or know someone or being recognized, try to attend, because you get individuals. You learn so much about the sport in public in Bermuda. Maya can speak to it when she comes on. It's certain individuals you don't even know what they do, and you figure more things out. So that's what I enjoy most about the event. But it was a nice change up to my weekend.
Indeed. You sound like you had a rather eventful weekend. All I did was kind of have a bad morning yesterday because I thought I woke up late.
I missed the spinning class.
Huh?
I missed the spinning class.
Oh yeah, see, there you go. Daylight savings rough, man. I don't know about you, audience, but it's a rough time. It was a struggle this morning. Trust me, it was a struggle, and I'm an adult, so I can only imagine how children feel this morning going to school. Just their butt is not adjusted. I don't even remember this feeling when I was a child. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, I always struggled. I struggle more going forward, but I also struggle going backward. Sometimes it takes me like 2 weeks to get adjusted.
Interesting.
Like, it just leave the time alone. Leave the time alone.
You heard the brother. He said, leave the time alone. Farrah Palacio says, good morning. Good morning. Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Monday, Jamel and Larry, and an awesome Monday to you as well. Well, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us a part of your daily routine. We have a good one today as we're going to discuss how Bermuda, how we think about Bermuda and how our own perspectives shape international opinions. This is a very interesting conversation this morning because of the internet. We live in the internet age, right? And so I was in a conversation last week, and I'll get into that. But basically, person was saying like how everyone thinks that their heritage or whatever country they're from or whatnot is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We only feel differently when we're there. Interesting, right? The daily play is a who said it. So you all will get a chance. Chances are you might not beat Larry to it because he's been pretty good as of late. Do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All righty, let's jump right into the conversation this morning. The question of the morning is, what do you view Bermuda as, and how do you believe the local perspective shapes what others think of the island? So how do you view Bermuda? And how do you think your perspective shapes what others think of the island? What are your thoughts? And before we get into that, just yes or no. Be honest. Be very honest. This is a community meeting. We have these conversations regularly. There's no consequences from me or Larry. I mean, we have no power over you. And trust me, if you have a job that's gonna punish you for your opinion about this, then you probably should be preparing to leave that space. But basically, do you have a favorable opinion about Bermuda? Do you, yes or no? Do you have a favorable overall opinion about Bermuda? Yes or no?
Overall, I would say yes.
Hmm. I think it's crazy because what I've realized about, I'll just use the United States as an example. Depending on what political party the US president comes from, it seems to be whether or not people have a favorable view of their country, like Americans. Like when Donald Trump was the president, or George Bush, I remember many of conservatives saying, if you don't like it, leave. Um, Barack Obama and Joe Biden, there's this the opposite, right? From
Yeah.
that, and then it goes for the other party as well, right? So I think we do ourselves a disservice when we tie our love for country to politics. I want people to understand something real quickly. And I don't know, maybe it was that crazy movie. I haven't seen it, but I just remember there's a line from it. So I haven't watched the whole movie, but I think it was Pineapple Express, where the guy said, you can love your country without loving the government. Those two can coexist. Again, do you have a overall favorable opinion about Bermuda? Yes or no? Angeline Butler says yes. Manuela John says yes. Amber M says no. Good morning to you as well, Anika D. Shields. I hope you had a great weekend. Kenton Trott says yes. Kenton Trott says I love Bermuda. Farah Palacio says yes/no. Physically, I think we are beautiful, but I don't hold much, if any, Bermuda pride.
Yeah.
And Suzanne Ingham says more yes than no. I don't think there's any wrong answer to this. I think it really comes down to our own personal experience. And I want to repeat this, right? Because a lot of you spread rumors that I'm very passionate and strong in my opinion. I am. But I also understand that it's my perspective and my opinion. And my perspective and my opinion doesn't mean that it should be yours. We have different lived experiences. Yes, we do have some shared experiences, or we have different lived experiences. So Amber and Farah, their experiences are very different from mine. There are a lot of people who say Jamal hates Bermuda for what they've done with conscription. I hate that part of what I experienced with Bermuda. Yes. But do I hate Bermuda overall? I don't think I do. I see the good and the opportunities in the island that we call home. So the question of the morning is, getting back to it, is what do you view Bermuda as, and how do you believe the local perspective shapes what others think of the island? Let me start just by giving you an example how to answer this. I was talking to Larry yesterday. Are we a conservative island? Are we a religious island? Are we a tourism destination? Are we a business destination? Are we liberal? Are we a critical thinking population? And when we share our perspectives, what we're doing unconsciously, because we are doing this, we're actually comparing it with other destinations and jurisdictions. And we must ask ourselves, what is the barometer for our perspective? So what are your thoughts? What do you view Bermuda as, and how do you believe the local perspective shapes what others think of the island? Let's use one of the big things that I think you don't hear much of it in the media anymore was same-sex marriage, right? I believe there were 27 countries at the time that allowed same-sex marriage, and those 4 thought Bermuda was one of the worst places in the world. Those against thought this is what Bermuda should be, right? Again, depending on what side you're on, your perspective was probably based on either your beliefs, your and thoughts or experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you believe Bermuda is? I mean, I don't want to say that something like same-sex marriage makes Bermuda an advanced country, because the United States has same-sex marriage, and as long as you have a death penalty on, then you aren't advanced. Especially when that death penalty, well, we're not going to go there. My point is, how do you view Bermuda?
Yeah. It's interesting because when we talked about the topic yesterday, I was stumped, and usually I know which way I want to go and how I want to bring about my point if I have to do a bit of research or something. But I took a while to figure out where or if or how to proceed, and it made me think of I didn't want to focus on what we are not, but I kind of had to go there. And I guess overall, I came down, well, we have to be considered a business slash tax haven, right? Because that's what's fueling our community. But when I thought deeper, it was almost like we're almost a jack of all trades, but a master of none, right? Because we got a bit of tourism, we got a bit of the IB, like I said, religion, non-religious. We don't export; we rely heavily on imports. We're not self-sufficient, so it became, man, this is almost. I was concerned as I started to go over these things in my head. You know what I mean? And it kind of got me thinking, okay, it often speaks of, well, what's our identity? And I don't know if we can truly answer what our identity is past the pleasantries, our people, the weather, you know what I mean? But when it gets down to the nitty gritty, what's our identity? And I just couldn't come up with an answer.
Larry, it reminds me when I first left Bermuda. And I'm going to be very vulnerable. And Larry, so when I first left Bermuda, I was in Huntsville, Alabama. And back then, there were a lot of Bermudians in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah.
And we would argue over what our culture was. And there was so many Bermudians. 80% of the Bermudians I was around would say we don't have any culture. The identity crisis is real. I said last week I was talking to a friend, she's of Jamaican descent. And I was talking about I have never been anywhere in the world and not met a Jamaican until I went to South Africa and Mauritius, right? Spain, I met a Jamaican, everywhere I've been. But I said, no matter where I've seen a Jamaican, they are the proudest people I've ever met. I mean, they carry such pride with them. And then, there are people who say, well, if they have so much pride, why don't they go home? All that nonsense, whatever. I feel that conversation then led to something else where it says, she says, well, most people have that much pride. Most people, when they leave home, feel that way. And I'm like, I'm not quite sure every Bermudian feels that way. I'm not quite sure Bermudians who leave Bermuda are as proud like Jamaicans who might leave Jamaica. I could be wrong, audience, but I don't believe they are. Because our experiences dictate how we feel.
Yeah.
Again, there are people who literally believe I hate Bermuda because of my experiences. I mean, my experience isn't just that we fought against conscription. My experience involves something that your former governor said, that they locked me up in a cell that wasn't fit for a dog, which meant I was the last person locked up at Warwick Camp. Just take a minute and think about that. A black-led government, a country, let a black male feel like that. And guess who were the biggest culprits in cheering that on? Black women. Yeah, black women. So I could be angry and hate Bermuda, but I don't, because I see the greater good. I say if it were not for that, we probably wouldn't be here having these conversations, trying to find a better way forward for our entire island.
And it segues to the second part. I don't think the local part what is it? The local formulates or no has an impact internationally. I don't think the local opinion has an impact internationally
Mm,
because I had a strong opinion like Jamal, especially if you go back 10 years ago. I hated Bermuda. Like I would not be seen in a picture with a Bermuda flag because of conscription. It said Larry Marshall Jr. versus the governor and government of Bermuda on the legal documents.
Larry Mark.
Um, your boy's trying to do my middle name in there. But the point is I had such a strong thing, and I had to kind of let it go because
Mhm.
it just wasn't as time goes on and you're holding on and stuff. It just bringing up these things. It's not good for me. You know what I mean? And I actually don't even talk about it as much as Jamal or my father or so, because I really internalize it and get angry. So I had to learn to let it go and stuff. But with how I felt and how I was saying stuff, I don't think it really impacted people internationally thinking of what they think of Bermuda. So,
Yeah.
we have our feelings, but at the end of the day, the marketing people's gonna push out what they push out for tourism and stuff. And I think people come here, formulate an opinion, go back and say, all right, well, it's expensive, it's this. The locals are friendly. Some may not be the locals friendly, but it doesn't have anything that our opinions, I think, kind of has an impact.
I'm glad you said that because I don't think that my dislike or hate at the time for Bermuda's politics uh, shaped anyone outside Bermuda's opinion in terms of coming here to start up a business, coming here to visit and spend tourism dollars. So, but we do live in an internet age, right? Like this show is taking place on the internet. It's streamed from anywhere right now. And, you know, you want to, and I don't want to pick on a country, but there's a country in the Caribbean right now that there's some serious unrest.
Yeah.
Serious unrest. I guarantee you, because of that unrest, most people are likely not going to want to visit there. I don't think, you hear the government even saying at times, people online and in the newspaper on writing underneath the stories, not helping Bermuda and its reputation and the like, right? I don't think the public sways much because I think most of these companies experience that wherever they go, especially if they're in these United States of America where I'm located. Again, the question, audience, is what do you view Bermuda as? Like, again, what do you view Bermuda as? Do you think it's a welcoming country? Is it a welcoming country to you? Is it a footballing or cricket nation? Well, we're not a nation, but you get my point. But how do you view it? What are your thoughts? And how do you believe our local perspectives shape what others think of the island? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Charles H. Jefferson II says, yes, because I love Bermuda. I want the best for Bermuda and its people, including a government that acts in the best interest of everyone. Shamari Talbot says, Bermuda is good for those it's designed to cater to. In a world of 7 billion, there's only about 30,000 multi-generational Bermudians that exist. And many of those people, not a priority. Sorry, and many of those people, not a priority. Farah Palacio says, knowing who I am as an individual, I can honestly say this place does not make me happy. I would love to love Bermuda the way I love myself, but I definitely do not. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. And my only thing to Farah would be, and this is easier said than done. But if we're in a space that we don't love, what are we doing to change it?
Yeah. The other thing is that comment is not uncommon. I
Mhm.
think if we was to do a poll around Bermuda, we will get that type of comment
Indeed,
a bit more than before.
indeed, indeed. And again, you all know how I felt. Like what she just said is literally something I would repeat over and over and over. Not long ago. I mean, there were times. I'll say this right now. I mean, we're honest on this show, and you're not going to hold it against me. Working for Bermuda Tourism, I can't even say I love Bermuda. But what I did love was Bermudians. I loved that my mother was working at a local hotel. My best friend was a cab driver and uncle. They benefited from us bringing people into Bermuda. That's what I loved, the Bermudian people who were benefiting from the work I was doing. But whether I loved Bermuda, No, I think Bermuda was a racist country, regardless of who the government is. I believe that racism is embedded in our culture, regardless of it. Do not let a poor black political leader make you believe that Bermuda is not a racist country. You know, we celebrate Black History Month, but we exclude certain black people because of their sexuality. That's not how black love works. We celebrate women's history. You know, we just had this big thing on Friday. Oh, say it publicly. No. But you know what bothered me most about this thing? It's like this holiday for white women to act like they're as oppressed as others. I didn't like it. It seems more exclusive than inclusive. So what do I see Bermuda as? I think we're an island with an identity crisis, as Larry said. I think we're an island where we do a lot of perpetrating. Like we want to portray that we're something. You know, for years we were this rich island and we had all this stuff. You know, you go to college and everyone had the best cars and looked down on others. Remember, Larry gave me this lecture when he came to visit me in Rhode Island, and I made a comment. No. Nah. About some brothers from another island. But that's what we were taught. And we still have that xenophobic way today. We may not be as expressive, but all these things can be fixed, folks. Bermuda doesn't have any major issues that can't be fixed.
Because before we get to that, I think some of those things are. I don't see where some of these things are fixable.
You don't.
It's still embedded.
And that's sad, though, right? I believe maybe I'm being overly optimistic, Larry, but I do believe that there is through education, we can fix almost every issue that we have. But the older people are, it's like a dog, right? And I hate comparing people to dogs, but at the end of the day, it's easier to train a puppy than a dog. The younger you're able to get people, the more you may be able to influence them. But once people are set in their ways, things get tough.
Okay. I'll leave it at that.
Farah Palacio says it's safe. We have issues here, but as an alternative being, I can only call it safe. LOL. Yeah, there are certain people who don't feel safe in Bermuda. Look, we've spoken about this before. And I think one of the biggest letdowns for me in Bermuda is that we love comparing our issues with the United States. They're incomparable. I think as a black man in Bermuda, we are the most vulnerable. It's in the numbers. It's in the stats. Black men are not safe. Black men are not safe in Bermuda. When Maya reports a shooting, who's the shooter? Who's the victim? I believe there's been one woman, which is one is too many, period. When there's road fatalities, greater percentages, who is the victim? Antisocial behavior.
Yeah.
Who's the victim? The black male in Bermuda is the most vulnerable within our population. Believe that. Believe that. So safe, we just had a shooting this weekend, I'm sure Maya's going to talk about.
Yeah.
It was a male victim. And I'm sure if they found the perpetrators, they would be black males as well. Let's go through the final comments before we bring Maya in. Angeline Butler says, it is a land of opportunity, depending on what industry you strive to be in. That's one perspective. Well, according to the PLPIB. Reese Sam says, for a country so rich in history, we are not as proud as a people as we should. Farah Palacio says, I am working towards finding my community. I think this would help, but this is something I don't need Bermuda for. Traveling Trotty says Bermuda is not as welcoming anymore, and that's unfortunate. And Kia Verne BDA says, I see Bermuda as a place that can change for the positive very quickly because it's so small. The only thing is, are Bermudians willing to do the work for that change? She goes on to say, Kia Verne BDA goes on to say, yes, I agree with Jamal. Through education, Bermuda can change. Farah Palacio says, in all fairness, Black individuals aren't safe anywhere, really, but Bermuda is predominantly Black, and it's Black men hurting Black men safe, as we won't be locked up for abortions or queer. Thank you for that. And I really appreciate, not that I appreciate Farah more than anyone else, but I appreciate her directness in her comment right there. I think the issue is that it's a predominantly Black country. Charles H. Jefferson II says, I'm optimistic that Bermuda can be fixed, but I believe the next election will be pivotal. The demographics of Bermuda are changing and will continue to change if something doesn't happen. All right, we've got to bring Maya Palacio in. Folks, if you've appreciated this engaging conversation so far, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Please make sure that you share this conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. I want to know, how do we feel about Bermuda, but also how it shapes our perspective. But there's another caveat. What are each and every one of us doing to shape Bermuda into what the Bermuda that we want to love? What are we each doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm trying to create opportunities for Bermudians, not just to engage, but get into our community and make a difference. Let's bring Maya Palacio in for Daily Hour News Break. We'll continue the conversation after that. Well, if she leaves us anytime, that is.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you?
Morning.
Really good this morning.
Well, that's wonderful. Did you, have any issues with the time change, waking up or anything?
Just a bit. Just a bit.
It's not easy. Just a bit probably means, she had a big. No, I struggled. I'm serious, you guys. I struggled.
Yeah, I'm sure I definitely struggled. I was irritated very much. So I feel like my alarm didn't go off when it was supposed to, but I was like, is it me? Did my phone not change? I know it changed. But okay, here we are.
Mine's died. That's what really messed me up. Phone died. So.
No, it happens. Honestly, what's the thing when you keep pressing the thing? Is it called snooze?
Snooze.
I kept it this morning, and I was just like, what am I doing? I'm becoming that person I always say I'm not. But anyway, any thought on this morning's topic?
I don't think I have an opinion on this morning's topic right now, but I think I will answer one of the questions that you posed about how if Bermudians feel like really proud when they're away from Bermuda, when they leave. I feel proud. Mainly the main point though for me is like I know that I just come from a small island, not many people are out here, and I feel like I'm really representing something so unique and small and right in the middle of the ocean. And as an athlete, I guess that pride is still there. I used to not feel as much, but when you're out there playing against other countries again, you're the smallest one and you win. And when you're in Jamaica against somebody, like it feels so good, like Bermuda on your back, like type, competition space, headspace that you're in, and you just like you feel good about where you came from and how small of a size it is and how you were able to compete and win against such a larger nation. So those are the moments where I'm like, I am so proud.
Indeed. I love that. And those are the kind of things that build pride as well.
Definitely. All right. Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Hour News brought to you by the great people at People's Pharmacy. So, yes, you heard it around and you'll definitely hear more right now on the news. But a 38-year-old man was shot multiple times and remains in the hospital. Let's take a listen to more information. Police are investigating a confirmed firearm incident which took place in the area of Court Street and Elliott Street outside the Spinning Wheel nightclub around 12:15 a.m. on Sunday, March the 10th. The man, who sustained multiple gunshot wounds, continues to receive treatment for his injuries, which are not considered life-threatening. Court Street remained closed between Dundonald Street and Elliott Street for approximately 4 hours after the incident, while the scene was forensically processed. Several spent shells were recovered. It is understood that immediately after the shooting, 2 men dressed in dark clothing with dark tinted helmets were seen speeding along King Street on a motorcycle that did not have any number plates. Investigators are particularly interested in speaking with anyone who may have seen individuals fitting this description in the area of Court Street and Elliott Street, Pembroke, shortly before or after the shooting. Police wish to thank members of the public who have so far come forward with information on the incident. However, they are aware that there were several others who would have witnessed what happened, and they ask that you or anyone with information please contact Acting Detective Inspector Anika Donowa on 717-2250. You could also call the main police number at 295-0011 or share this information with an officer whom you know.
I think the positive in that story, and I said it earlier on this show, sometimes it's positive in all that's bad, is that the injuries don't seem to be like threatening.
Especially for something that was like multiple gunshots.
Correct. And I don't know what more to say when it comes to this stuff, outside of, I'm thankful that someone lives for another day.
Indeed. Now, in other news, and this might be quite interesting to the community, but the cabinet has approved the purchase of a new asphalt plant and road asphalt equipment for about $6.2 million. Now, approximately 75% of the allocated funding is contained in the current 2023-24 budget, which you will recall is around $5 million. And they say that they will have the remaining expenditure coming out of the next fiscal period, which is in 2024-2025. Now, they go on to explain a little bit more that an additional $1.1 million has been budgeted for the next fiscal year to install the new batching plant and decommission the old one. More information also states that the Minister Birch expressed optimism about the new development. He stated, after enduring a challenging year with our road conditions exacerbated due to record rainfall, we are now poised to enhance our road infrastructure significantly. Our partnership with ASTEC Industries, which is the company coming down to do it, ensures not only the procurement of top-notch equipment, but also access to invaluable expertise and maintenance support. In preparation for the arrival of the operation of the new equipment, the minister arranged for 15 staff members to undergo specialized training at ASTEC headquarters as well in Tennessee earlier this year. And closing off, Minister Birch says the paving equipment is expected to be delivered within a few weeks, whereas the construction of the plant aboard will take 6 months, following an additional 3 months for shipping and assembling on site. However, if they can get it here faster, they definitely will try to do that if it's feasible.
Okay. Okay, let me just say one thing about the weird things. Sometimes we can't please Bermudians, right? They paved a piece on Front Street, and which meant the traffic will be diverted or backed up a bit. And our people, how come it can't be done on a Sunday? Oh, just great. More traffic backups and stuff. I'm saying, well, if we want the roads to get done, it's going to be a bit inconvenient. So that's a little bit there. I'm not going to touch on the money part.
Well, I'd say two things in reference to that. And again, this is the luxury in the U.S. They would do construction, say the highway from 11 p.m. through 6 a.m. every night through June. There will be construction, one lane traffic on 95 South. So that's to address that in terms of timing. The problem in Bermuda is everyone wants stuff done, but no one wants to work those hours, right?
No. People will complain that overtime is getting paid for that, or double time. You know what I mean?
Well, and again, that's another mentality in Bermuda. Does it need to be overtime or double time, and not just the hours that people work? The second thing is, you're right. It's hard to please Bermudians. Now, in reference to the money being spent, look, I get people who have issues with the money the government spending. I don't think the issue is a matter of the spending. It's how we spend it. And we need problems to be fixed. So we need to decide, how, what do we want? What are we willing to get done? Again, the PLP is no friend of mine, but we can't just sit back and moan and complain about everything that they're doing if they're trying to fix things for the greater good, right?
Yeah.
Indeed. One thing I would say about it is just like we knew how much it was going to cost. I think the Minister Birch said it maybe 6 or 7 months ago at this point, and the budget was just released. And obviously, they're already spending more than what the budget was allocated for this road paving, but they also didn't make it as much as it should be, knowing that it was like going to cost way more to get these type of things fixed in Bermuda. I can't recall the exact number, but it was significantly higher than what they had budgeted for to actually be able to fix our roads. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education, Diallo Raban, shared initiatives and commitments. Rabane. Dialogue Urbain shared initiatives and commitments by the ministry that has led to a remarkable increase in funding, he says. So let's hear some of those initiatives.
Recognizing the pivotal role of male educators in shaping our future, we are introducing 4 new awards to encourage men to enter the education sector. This initiative provides financial support for males aspiring to switch careers and earn a teaching license through a qualified practicum, addressing a critical gap in our educational workforce. The College Promise Program, launched in 2021, has been a beacon of opportunity for graduating seniors from Cedar Bridge Academy and the Barclay Institute, allowing them to attend the Bermuda College tuition-free. This year, we are taking a step further by including a stipend to cover class incidentals like books.
Marshall, I'm actually curious what your opinion is on that. We're trying to allocate more, funds and trying to get males to take over in the teaching realm in Bermuda. Is it something we need? Like, what do you think about it?
I knew you was gonna ask me about it. I
You were a
don't
teacher. I
wanna
had to
touch
ask.
anything on that. I'm not against them putting funds or resources to try and get more males. I think it's obviously a need. I have a child that's now in Bermuda Public School, and I know the importance that male teachers had on me. I think I would like to see more things to keep them there. Most males get to a level of frustration, especially when you get into the middle and the high school. Males tend to deal with boys in particularly different with discipline issues, and a lot of the times they are not backed. And I'm not saying that, but you grab up and you hit and you slap. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that something has to be done to keep them there. It's a high turnover rate for males. It's got to be something wrong, and that is not getting addressed, in my opinion.
Thank you. That was insightful. Well, in other news too, like the Ministry of Transport, Wayne Furbert, says that abandoned vehicles pose risks to the health and safety of Bermudians as well, and the island in general. So that's hearing.
Abandoned vehicles can become a potential breeding ground for pests, pose fire hazards, and can obstruct traffic flow. It is high time we take decisive action to tackle this issue. Speaker, in the latter part of January, the ministry took proactive measures to inform the public about our initiatives to address the issue of abandoned vehicles. In conjunction with this effort, we established an email address to accept reports. Today, the public has provided details of over 30 vehicles.
I didn't know abandoned vehicles was a thing in Bermuda. I thought they just took them down the airport and that little dump down there.
No, not if they haven't been like found to their person yet. They say, I don't know if you remember we reported, but I reported this, and then there was just so many on the island. And so instead of waiting a week to like take them and dispose of them, but then that comes out of the taxpayers' dollars, they're trying to get the owners to come take their vehicles and dispose of them correctly. So yes, you're supposed to, as the owner, do that, not just leave them around and hopefully someone takes it and gets rid of it. But that's what people have been doing. And now the government has been putting like tickets on these cars. They tried contacting these people, it's not working. So now they were waiting 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, they will dispose of it properly using obviously the taxpayers' dollars. So with this now being said, I think that's what's happening, and people have called in. Apparently about 30 vehicles have been identified now as to whose it is. So we'll see what happens there.
All righty.
Right.
Seems like more costs being incurred that's not needed.
Just another thing, Marshall.
Yeah.
Now, in other news, the winner of the Bermuda International Women of the Year this year is Tammy Richardson, painter at Appleby, was introduced as the 2024 Woman of the Year. Tammy's understanding and outstanding achievements include being a lawyer, mother, and advocate with an unwavering dedication to victims and survivors of domestic abuse, set her apart. As a certified facilitator and ambassador of the One Love Foundation, she was raising awareness about relationship abuse and providing support in Bermuda. As a partner at Appleby, Tammy brings her expertise to bear on professional and community boards, including the Bermuda Monetary Authority, Aspen Insurance Group, Soldiers Grammar School, Bermuda End to End, and We Speak Bermuda. She was partnered with local charities such as the Women's Resource Center, Santa Against Abuse, the Coalition for the Protection of Children, and the Family Center to amplify the voices of those impacted by domestic abuse. Congratulations to Tammy Richardson.
Congratulations.
And closing out our sports, I know Marshall went to the sports awards and listed this year for the top Bermuda female athlete of the year was Jessica Lewis, para track and field, and the male athlete of the year was none other than Connor White for cycling. So congratulations to those athletes and everyone at the night.
All right, real quickly, Maya, someone said it was Tammy Richardson
Augustus. Yes, I apologize. I meant to say partner for Appleby, that is painter. Thank you for that correction. And in our weather today is looking kind of sunny, but also it's going to be a lot of strong gale force winds toward the end of the afternoon and possibly some blustery showers as well. So the sunny periods will not be lasting very long.
All righty. You all better cover up. What you got for days of the year, bro?
Today is World Plumbing Day. It's interesting because we just had folks ask the expert, can't remember her name.
Yolanda Hippolyte.
Yes, Miss Hippolyte. She was here from the BAC group, and take a day. We're bringing up plumbers again. A lot of people have went out and got the zip it, Jamal. I don't know if you know. I still hasn't got his. But we need to get it go. So recognize your plumbers today, folks.
All righty, World Plumbing Day. I can't say what I was thinking. I have a joke.
Okay. Can I leave?
Can I say it?
Okay.
All right. I can't find it though. Oh, let's go with this one. This is an easy one. All right, joke time, folks. Joke time. We'll get back to the serious conversation after this. This is easy. You guys gonna figure this out.
Yeah, he parks right up and it's joke time too.
So happy. Just so happy.
But you all say I'm grumpy and I don't smile enough. I'm trying to,
okay. That's
okay.
fair.
Here we go. Really? You couldn't just say no, you're not, Jamal? Okay. Here we go.
Nice.
What did the baby corn say to the mama corn?
Candy corn. Something. I don't know, Jamal.
Something about being popped. I don't know. What?
Close. Where's popcorn? You almost got it. No, tough crowd.
Tough crowd on the
That'd
Monday.
be nice. I'm so
People's
tired.
tired.
Smiling.
People's tired. That's what it is. See, people are tired, Jamal. Daylight saving hits us all.
Yeah, man. I woke up late.
I mean, I hope you all have a great day, great start to your week, and enjoy some popcorn. Thank you, Suzanne. And look, we gotta show Suzanne some love. Maya, pick up your prize yet?
I didn't get a response, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Well, you have to speak to the powers that be. Look, Grumpy Farah. She must be related to you. Nothing. Anyway, see you later, Mike. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. We're going to continue this conversation. We did get a lot more responses. So we'll be back after this message to continue this morning's conversation. How do you feel about Bermuda, and how do you think your opinion shapes what others think? Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Larry Marshall Jr. I am Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, if you haven't already, do us a favor, just go to thedailyhour.com and make sure you subscribe to our website. Follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Let's get back to the question of the morning. What do you view Bermuda as, and how do you believe the local perspective shapes what others think of the island? We did have a few comments before we went to break, and I want to, this is a long one, So we're going to read it, not put it on screen. But Suzanne Ingham says, I left the country in the late 70s with a bitter hatred for my country, embarrassed to be Bermudian. Not long after I returned, Bermuda has its issues, but it's my home. I must return. It has taken me, I think she means years. It has taken me years, but the stand for my country has come. It's do or die for my people. Definitely identity crisis. We have lost our identity. Definitely racism is embedded and must end. We are human beings and should all be treated as that. I am very grateful for shows like this, and thank you for your contribution. I think in all what she just said, Larry, I think confronting who we are is a big part of that. Confronting the issues that we face. They're not going to deal with themselves, right? We have to confront them. We have to work them out. We have to deal with them. Malachi Troy says, we need a culture change. I always say we need a cultural shift. We need a mindset shift. But he says, an older gentleman told me that I was making too much noise and I should keep my head down. I found out 3 days ago he left for good. Like left Bermuda for good?
Well, did he perish?
Right, that's what I'm dead serious. What do you mean he left for good? Like he's going to the pearly.
I think he meant he's probably relocated.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I mean, we can only read into what you put through. Suzanne Ingham says, speaking up, respecting each person, being a positive change with those I encounter during my day. What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts? Ray Kai says, Bermudians offer more to Bermuda than Bermudians get from Bermuda. Wow, there you go.
Hold on, let me read this again.
Yeah. Bermudians offer more to Bermuda than Bermudians get from Bermuda.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
I think that's quite profound. I can understand that. I probably actually agree with that.
That's one of those things you have to sit on it for a bit and really just ponder. But I like that. I think that's what we're here for. These thought-provoking conversations, Jamal.
Yeah. No, I think if we give some thought to that, Ray Kai is actually absolutely correct.
How much of this is tied to leadership? And obviously, when I say leadership, the first thing people are going to think about is, the government. But leadership in the workplace, leadership in social settings, just different levels of leadership throughout the island. Because, some people, a large group of people will feel that Bermuda's great. I have no issues in Bermuda.
Well, here's the thing. Again, we had someone from the IB sector on this show, and I thought it was one of the most dangerous conversations we've ever had publicly on this show, because that individual was on this show and, oh, life's great and this and that, a Black woman. And I asked myself, has IB taken so many Black people and made them believe that the Bermuda is this awesome, great place, and that there's no issues, and anyone who's not enjoying life like this it's on them, right? Do we become oblivious? Do we just lose touch? To answer your question, it is a leadership issue. And when I speak about leadership, I was talking to someone this weekend, and this is no disrespect to Tammy Richardson, Augustus, or anyone else. But I had a thought this morning during my jog that would offend most people, but that's who I am, so I'll share it. And on my jog, I thought about the year 2020. 4 years later. And let me be clear, I'm not going to be controversial in saying that there was a conspiracy with the pandemic and the shut thing or any of that stuff. But the year 2020 was an election year in the United States of America. There was a pandemic. There was the civil unrest. And then these great programs called DEI was started. But what stood out to me most were the people who latched on, the leaders who latched on to all of this, because they said, oh, we got to save face. There were the tokens. And yes, there are Black tokens, a lot of them. What does that mean to me? Black people who are not a threat to the establishment, but they have the Black skin. And they were speaking out finally. All these years, they ain't spoke out about nothing, but this was safe. So they began to speak up. And then you saw many white people who had no interest in anything but making money saw it as an opportunity. And they started doing it. And companies, you all wonder why I have such an issue with charity and I choose empowerment over charity, because they latched on to this stuff. And now if you go on LinkedIn, 4 years later, DEI is going away.
Yep.
Right? People are losing their jobs. I actually saw one big travel organization say they're moving away from, they called it EDI, and going towards social inclusion. Yes, it starts with leadership, because we have to remember, Mark Bean, the Honorable Mark Bean said it recently. The job of these CEOs, even the Black ones, isn't to Black people, it's to their shareholders. They're going to do what's going to help them best, not their community. They're trying to maintain the lifestyle that they have. So yes, it comes down to leadership. And we have a problem in our community with leadership. A big problem, but we will never address it, because that means interrupting someone's comfort. It means someone's not going to have, they're going to risk their financial situation and their livelihood.
Yeah. And
Not willing to do that.
And for effective change, people are going to feel uncomfortable. And I think a lot of the times in Bermuda, we want 2 trips a year, able to put our children in good this, blah, blah, blah. It's certain check marks that people are not willing to go without, you know, to really bring about effective change.
Yeah. It's much harder than words. It's much harder than words and pretty stuff that or the fluff and so on. I think Bermuda's in a very precarious state, because at the end of the day, what most would consider our most intellectual stay away from social change. They stay away from pushing for social change. They stay in safe spaces. The kind of people we celebrate and honor are not a threat. I'm going to, one more thing on that leadership thing. There's a term that you've heard in business spaces over the last decade or so. And it's one of the most discriminatory things that we literally have not figured out. But wait for it. I'm sure everyone's heard this term. We're looking for someone who fits our culture. It's not just about talent or ability, but someone who fits the culture. These companies don't want someone coming in that's going to shake things up and take them to another level. They want someone who's going to come in and embrace who they are, what they are. They don't want change. They want someone to come and go along. And that's a way to discriminate. But it's a private company. What are we going to do? So leadership, it starts from politics through businesses. Yeah, that's the leadership we have.
In the houses, in the homes, like it's all levels of leadership. And I think if we get to the crux of all the issues or what is Bermuda in our views, it all can be addressed through, one, you said education, and then we need quality leadership in crucial areas in Bermuda.
Indeed. And I think we say it all the time. We are lacking leadership. politics, in business, in our families, in our community clubs. It's going to take a cultural shift. And that cultural shift means there's going to have to be a period of uncomfort. We're going to have to go through a stage of uncomfort. Let's go through these final comments. Manuel John says, Bermuda is another melting pot. Unfortunately, our past has affected our behavior in that we still expect negativity and have not learned to deal with it. Farah Palacio says, there are so many beautiful, talented, and hardworking Bermudians that do not feel appreciated here. Their growth gets capped quite often, can only go so far, indeed. Ray Kai says, Bermuda isn't another world. Bermudians are another people. That's the thing here. Anika DeShield says, Bermuda must have something. I see expats still here 30 years. Yeah, it has something for some people. It has something for some people. Every country has something, right? It has something for some people.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's what we're encountering. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, they love compliance in the corporations. Look, it's not just that. We love compliance in our households. What do we do when a child challenges the parent? We discipline them. There's consequences. How many parents really say, you know what? Let me consider what my child was saying. Because that's not who we are as a people.
Because I said so, boy.
Exactly. That's our response. I don't know who she was, but I'll never forget the first person who told me, it was an elderly Sunday school teacher I had at Evening Light Pentecostal when I was young. And she welcomed young people challenging the thought of adults. I don't remember her, and she was elderly then, so we're talking 30 years ago, longer. Because I've been a heathen much longer than that. But my point is, it's embedded in us to shut people down, especially young people, especially those who have different thoughts from us. I have some more thoughts on this, but we're going to take a quick break. Kia Renee BDA says, yes, cultural shift needed, and things will get difficult through that shift. Yes, they will. Rashida Godwin says, if you want to figure out a solution to a problem, you look at who profits from it and not who suffers from it. Oh, now we're talking. We're going to take a final break. Come back after this. We're going to wrap it up. Do not go anywhere because someone's going to be eligible for this week's prize. In the meantime, please do us a favor. Whatever platform you're on, give us a like, a love. Make sure you share this conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues, but show us some love so that we can ensure that everyone in our community receives this information, this conversation with love.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Let's kick it off in the footwear department. When it comes to footwear, we carry functional, comfortable, orthopedic, and waterproof shoes. We have construction shoes, golf shoes, shoes for walking, shoes for boating. We even have shoes for pickleball. We have shoes for everyone. With brands by Skechers, Atrax, Propay, Easy Street, Nursemates, Clogs, Avenger, Cherokee, Cat, Frog Talks, and DeWalt. The list goes on. Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Pair with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear. You can't go wrong. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can be stylish and comfortable at the same time? Speaking of stylish, we also have top-quality running, walking, and workout apparel by Skechers in a variety of sizes for men and women. Cool, breathable, and dry. With our wide selection of Skechers footwear, you'll look great before, during, and after your workout. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
You'll be surprised at everything we have to offer at our huge new retail and wholesale location on Bakery Lane.
All righty. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. If you've appreciated this morning's show, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you repost it. Make sure you share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, Larry, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, audience, if you guessed this first answer that shows up on the screen, you will be eligible for this week's prize. It is a Who Said It. Quote, he who is not courageous enough to take risk will accomplish nothing in life, end quote. The greatest.
Michael Jordan? Yeah, I'm stumped. Nelson Mandela. Muhammad Ali.
Zayn CT?
Yes.
Right, the greatest. Muhammad Ali. It was Muhammad Ali who said, quote, he who is not courageous enough to take risk will accomplish nothing in life, end quote. Biggie Smalls just had a birthday, right? Or was he?
Yeah. Birthday.
Happy birthday to the late Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace. Oh, happy birthday to you, Zayn. Zayn, please send an email to no, you can't do that yet. You have to be eligible. So you have to tune in on Friday to see if you're this week's winner. So we will announce the winner on Friday. So Zayn beat Larry. Larry came up a bit short on his Sanchez Sherry this morning, but that's okay. Let's give our final thoughts on this morning's show, though, man. Like, final thoughts on this conversation. Again, we discussed, our view of Bermuda and how we believe our perspective shapes what others think. But let's also, how can we fix it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely these conversations are needed, because I think when we think about things like lack of identity or really trying to pin down what type of country we are, it becomes difficult. And I would like to see us going forward where we can definitely say, no, we're into textiles, we're into technology. We are known for, you know what I mean? And if it's IB, then let it be IB, but IB is inclusive of everyone, not just a percentage, you know what I mean? And other people trying to work to get it in, yes. But we just have to see a bit more. And again, as we touched on later, I like to see the leadership in Bermuda address more things where we're able to get more tangible results.
Indeed. I'll say this much. I appreciate the various perspectives from everyone in the audience. I appreciate that some people feel safe, some people don't. I appreciate that some people have hope, some people don't have none. But I believe whatever the issues we have and we face, there's always a solution. There's always a solution. And I believe with the right mindset and education, we can overcome them if we want, if we choose. We have issues like any other country.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be clear. Bermuda is not another world. I believe Ray Kai said that. We have problems just like any other place. But we need to figure out who we are and what we can do to help ourselves. At the end of the day, nobody is coming to save us. Only we can help ourselves. We have to understand that.
Well said.
You got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. And this is from basketball player Carmelo Anthony. Today's daily inspiration. Every morning you have two choices. Continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them.
All right, there you go. Hey, speaking of it, before we go, I did put on my WhatsApp status last night that I given up non-alcoholic beer. And it was actually, I was out to dinner with a bunch of my boys in Bermuda recently, and one of my boys is not drinking. It's like, nah, I can't even do that. And I thought about it. I'm sharing this story before we head out. And I'm like, I asked, why do I even drink non-alcoholic beer? Beer tastes nasty, for one. And I think it was a substitute to kind of ease away from alcohol. But after I finish this last six pack, because I'm not going to waste it, got to finish it. I want to say, if it's about showing young people and other people a better way, then there's no reason to have anything that looks like an alcoholic beverage in hand. So I'm happy about my decision. I know some people like it's not alcohol anyway, but it's the image. It's the image.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I appreciate everyone who has supported my journey. But if we go out next time, please accept that it'll be sparkling water and lime, likely not a non-alcoholic beer. But anyway, all that said, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I am Jamal Hartman. My friends, please make it a safe and a great day. We are is out. Peace.